Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast, and welcome to your Friday night Smackdown post-show, man. And there is a lot to talk about in today's episode. We hear from WWE Champion himself, Sami Zayn. We'll talk about that in today's episode. We also got a 6 women's tag team matchup with Charlotte Flair, Stratton, and Chelsea Green taking on Jade Cargill, B-Fab, and Meechin. We'll talk about that in today's episode as well. We have a AAA Cruiserweight title matchup between Rey Fenix defending the AAA title against El Hijo del Vikingo. We'll talk about that in today's episode as well. We also hear from WWE U.S. Champion Trick Williams. We'll also talk about that in today's episode as well. We got Brie Bella in action taking on Fatal Influence's Lainey Reed. And we also crown a new number 1 contender to face Sami Zayn for the WWE title, and we'll talk all about that in today's episode. Before I even get started, man, with SmackDown, I know some people may be shocked due to the fact that, man, you haven't covered SmackDown in a while. I wanted to change some things up. Obviously, SmackDown, there's a lot of talk about Sami Zayn being WWE Champion, and SmackDown actually went back to 2 hours, and they are 2 hours now moving forward. Thank God. Because the 3-hour SmackDowns on Friday nights were just absolutely fucking brutal with the product that we were getting every Friday night. So I said, you know what, man, what the hell? I'll do a SmackDown review for you guys. I'm sure some of you guys are probably wondering where the hell the SmackDown reviews have been. So here we are tonight. I also want to say, too, if you're on the East Coast, man, this heat index has been absolutely fucking brutal. First and foremost, man, I checked the thermostat outside today, and it was 103 degrees with the heat index. So if you guys are on the East Coast like myself, hopefully you guys are out there staying cool and, chilling with some AC and relaxing, man, because this heat is absolutely just brutal. So, but let's get into the night, man. We hear from WWE Champion Sami Zayn. Zayn comes out to the ring, grabs a microphone. Zayn says a lot of people here are willing to ride or die with the last real good guy. Zayn then thanks the fans. Zayn says, though it is kind of funny because for the past 6 months I've been booed. Zayn says those fans that were booing him are now cheering for him now that he's WWE Champion. But Zayn says he's never changed. Zayn said that he did it his way, the right way. Zayn says he could tell all the haters to kiss his ass, but he won't. Zayn says that tonight we are celebrating me. After that, Sami Zayn is interrupted by Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes comes out to the ring. Sami says, Cody, what do you want to talk about? Cody then gives congrats to Zayn. Cody then goes to leave the ring, but Zayn says, hey, where are you going? Zayn says, Cody, drop the act. Drop the American Nightmare. Just be Cody. After that, Zayn and Rhodes are both interrupted by none other than Jey Uso. Jey Uso comes out to the ring, gives Zayn a hug. Jey then tells Zayn that he's proud of him. Jey then says he's here on bloodline business, and this is Sami Zayn's warning shot. Jey then tells Zayn he needs to bring the gold back to the family. After that, Rose says, where are we? What year is this? Zayn then says this is the time to be WWE Champion. Zayn then tells Jey how you want this to go back to the family. Well, he knows he wants this to go back to the family. But as far as Zayn's concerned, it's still in the family. Some interesting stuff there from Sami Zayn. After that, Adam Pearce is here, who is the SmackDown General Manager right now, covering for Nick Aldis after the altercation that Nick Aldis had with Gunther backstage at Night of Champions. Zayn then says, doesn't he get a pick in his opponent for SummerSlam? Pearce says, who said anything about SummerSlam? Pearce says that we will have a number 1 contender tonight in a matchup between Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes to crown a new number 1 contender for Sami Zayn's WWE title. Pearce then tells Zayn he will defend the title next week at Monday Night Raw. Now, I will say this before I move forward with the rest of the review. Number 1, there's been a lot of heat towards Sami Zayn from a lot of fans. It's very divided. Some fans are out there that are very excited to have Sami Zayn as the WWE Champion, myself included. I think it was something that WWE, specifically SmackDown, there needed to be a change. Cody Rhodes being the QB1 and being WWE Champion, it just wasn't doing it anymore for Friday Night SmackDown. Now, you are missing some names. Kevin Owens is still out with injury. Drew McIntyre is out filming movies. So you got some certain names out there that are high-profile main event stars that represent Friday Night SmackDown. Cody Rhodes, being WWE Champion, has done nothing for the ratings on Friday Night SmackDown. Nothing. Where SmackDown just last week was 3 hours. You know, the product on Friday nights was just absolutely brutal. So with Sami Zayn becoming champion at Night of Champions, I don't think it hurt SmackDown at all, number one. Number two, I think it was something that was sorely needed for Friday Night SmackDown. With Pierce coming out and saying, hey, we're going to crown, you know, a new number one contender to face Zayn next week on Monday Night Raw, we have Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. Now, again, a lot of people are not excited or thrilled with this outcome either, because on one side of the fence, you got Jey Uso, who has lost to Obafemi. He lost his opportunity to get a world title matchup against Cody Rhodes, who was the champion at the time. And now we see Jey Uso in a number one contenders match against Cody Rhodes, where if Jey were to win, he gets an opportunity at Sami Zayn for the WWE title. Then the other side of the coin, you got Cody Rhodes, where a lot of people honestly are kind of fed up with the Cody Rhodes experiment. You know what I mean? But right now, Cody Rhodes is the top guy for Friday Night SmackDown. It's hard to keep Cody Rhodes off television. So we're going to get this matchup in the main event between Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes to crown a new number one contender to face Sami Zayn for the World WWE title next week on Monday Night Raw. Now, the other interesting factor into all this, which we'll talk about more at the end of today's show, is that there is a certain someone on their way back, and we'll be back on Monday Night Raw next week, and we'll talk more about that and how I feel about how all this comes together with a certain someone showing up on Monday Night Raw into the WWE title picture at the end of today's episode. But moving on from that, we have a 6 women's tag team matchup. It is Charlotte Flair teaming up with Tiffany Stratton and Chelsea Green to take on Jade Cargill, B-Fab, and Michin. I thought it was a decent match. It was an okay match. Back and forth matchup between both teams with Flair, Stratton, and Green keeping the pace of the match. Flair hits a senton off the apron, taking out Michin on the outside, followed by Jay hitting a fallaway slam in the middle of the ring. Chelsea Green gets involved by hitting a step-up enziguri and a Rough Rider in the middle of the ring. Jade then hits a big boot. Chelsea Green then hits a springboard Hurricane Rana, but Jade hits a Jaded on Chelsea Green in the middle of the ring, pins for the 3, and your winners of the match are Jade Cargill, B-Fab, and Michin. Hats off to Cargill, B-Fab, and Michin for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have a AAA Cruiserweight title matchup. It is Rey Fenix defending the AAA Cruiserweight title against El Hijo del Vikingo. I thought this was a good match, man. It was a back-and-forth matchup between Fenix and Vikingo, with Vikingo hitting a Hurricane Rana and taking out Fenix. Vikingo then follows it up by hitting a Pele kick on Fenix. But Fenix gets up, tries to get some offense in by hitting a springboard crossbody, followed by a handspring cutter on Vikingo for a near fall. Vikingo then gets up, hits a springboard moonsault to the outside, taking out Fenix. Fenix then gets up, hits a frog splash for a near fall, but Vikingo hits a running Meteora, followed by a Hurricane Rana. Vikingo then goes to the top rope, hits an avalanche poison Rana on Rey Fenix for a near fall. But somehow Fenix gets up, hits a jumping knee, and then finishes the match with a Mexican muscle buster on Vikingo, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match, and still AAA Cruiserweight Champion, is Rey Fenix. Hats off to Rey Fenix for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we hear from Mr. Lemon Pepper himself, U.S. Champion Trick Williams. Trick Williams comes out to the ring with Little Yachty, but he's quickly interrupted by former U.S. Champion Carmelo Hayes. Hayes grabs a microphone. Hayes says Ricky couldn't get the job done at Night of Champions. Hayes then says it's time to run it back for the U.S. title. Hayes then hypes up Trick, but Hayes says he made the U.S. title what it is, a title. Hayes then said the U.S. title is the workhorse title. Hayes then tells Trick, prove me wrong. Hayes says he's not buying what Trick is selling, with Trick being the best U.S. champion. After that, Little Yachty grabs a microphone. He mocks Hayes. Yachty then tells Hayes, next week you get your match, but not for the U.S. title. Trick then grabs a microphone and talks about the history that he's had with Hayes, and said it's funny that he knows Hayes like the back of his hand. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Trick then backhands Hayes, but Hayes then gets up, hits a senton over the ropes, and takes out Trick Williams. And it looks like we might get a U.S. Championship match here between Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. Some interesting stuff there between Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. We have the one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions, Brie Bella, taking on Fatal Influence's Lainey Reed. Now, I thought this was an okay match. There was a back-and-forth matchup between Brie Bella and Lainey Reed, with Brie keeping the pace of the match. Brie lands multiple yes kicks on Lainey in the middle of the ring, followed by Paige attacking Fatal Influence, who were ringside during the match. Lainey then hits a running knee on Brie Bella in the middle of the ring, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is Lainey Reed. Hats off to Lainey Reed for getting the win in this matchup. And moving on from that, we go into our main event of Friday Night SmackDown. It is a number 1 contenders match for Sami Zayn's WWE title. It is main event, Jey Uso taking on the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Now, I thought this was a good match. It was a back-and-forth matchup between Jey and Cody, with Rhodes keeping the pace of the match. Rhodes hits a Cody cutter on Jey for a near fall in the middle of the ring. Rhodes and Jey then are fighting on the outside, with Rhodes sending Jey over the announce table on the outside. Jey Uso then gets up, hits an Uso splash off the top rope, landing on Cody for a near fall. Rhodes then gets up, hits a springboard Cody cutter for a near fall. Rhodes then goes for a disaster kick on Jey, but Jey counters the disaster kick. This allowed Jey Uso to hit a spear on Cody for a near fall. Rhodes then takes a page out of Jey's playbook and hits a spear of his own on Jey Uso in the middle of the ring. Rhodes then hits a crossroads on Jey in the middle of the ring for a near fall. Jey and Rhodes then both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Jey Uso applying a sleeper hold on Cody, but the hold is broken. Rhodes then hits a crossroads on Jey Uso in the middle of the ring, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match and new number 1 contender for the WWE title is Cody Rhodes. Hats off to Cody Rhodes for getting the win in this matchup. Couple of things I want to talk about, man, when it pertains to Friday Night SmackDown before I get the hell up out of here. Number 1, was it a good show? No, it was an okay show at best, man. Look, at the end of the day, I'm excited for the fact that SmackDown's back to 2 hours. I think SmackDown does not need to be 3 hours. I don't think Raw needs to be 3 hours. The product that we were getting on Friday nights, man, and the reason why I haven't, if you guys are wondering, the reason why I haven't covered SmackDown in a while, man, is because the product that we were getting on Friday nights, man, and it being 3 hours on a Friday night was absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal, man. And mentally, it was draining me, man. Mentally, I was drained. I was exhausted. It was something where there was no excitement. We had AEW Dynamite as well on Wednesday nights that, you know, I felt like with Dynamite at times, even still now, man, it's not like it's completely over. But with Dynamite, at times, it was like trying to get blood from a goddamn stone with any kind of decent storyline that would get you intrigued with AEW Dynamite. And then we go into 2 days later with SmackDown. And, bro, at times, SmackDown's, if not worse than what we're getting on Dynamite. And I was just getting burnt out mentally, man. I just needed a goddamn break from SmackDown. And, yeah, I watched SmackDown tonight. I'm giving you guys a review of the show. I'm not sitting here saying that SmackDown's going to be in the realm every single week. You know, like I said, man, I just had this wild idea, and I said, you know what, I'll watch SmackDown tonight and give you guys a review on it and the direction where SmackDown is going and what's next for Sami Zayn. So I want to talk about the elephant in the room, obviously being Sami Zayn. You know, again, I will stress this enough. I can't stress this enough about what I said about Zayn. You know, I know there's a lot of people that are very divided with Sami Zayn being the current WWE champion. Man, I don't want to see Zayn as champion. He looks like he's homeless. He looks like a hobo. He looks like this. Or I don't like Sami Zayn because of his religious beliefs and all this other bullshit, yada, yada, yada. Look, man, at the end of the day, for me personally, as a wrestling fan, and that's why we're all here, that's why I appreciate you guys checking out the podcast, because at the end of the day, we're all wrestling fans and we're all entitled to our own opinion. But right here, right now, my opinion's going to matter. This is my show. You don't have to like it. That's fine. First and foremost, I don't give a rat's ass what Sami Zayn believes in, or the fact that the guy looks like a hobo to certain people, or he looks like some bum off the street, or whatever the hell people want to call Sami Zayn nowadays. At the end of the day, you have to look at the career span of Sami Zayn. And again, I mean, you look at the career span alone that he's just had within WWE, bro. We're talking about NXT Black and Gold Sami Zayn, main roster Sami Zayn, and some of the shit that Sami Zayn has been a part of. I mean, Sami Zayn, in my opinion, and this might be a hot take for a lot of people, but Sami Zayn was in one of the most predominant storylines in all of WWE, being in the Bloodline. That whole honorary ooze shit with Sami Zayn, and when he turned his back on Roman, and he hit Roman with that steel chair, if you guys remember that. I mean, there was grown-ass men in the crowd bawling their goddamn eyes out because they were excited. They were thrilled for Zayn. And Zayn had to go through all this shit just to be basically acknowledged, if you will, by the tribal chief, where Roman acknowledged finally Sami Zayn and brought him in as an honorary use. It was one of the best storytelling that WWE has put together in a very long time. And Sami Zayn's owed for that. Sami Zayn played a vital role into what the Bloodline were doing at one time, because it got the fans invested, it got the fans excited. And once Zayn turned on Roman, it got a lot of people talking. I mean, it was a very high-profile storyline at one time for WWE. I mean, and here's a guy that, it took this guy 13 goddamn years, man. 13 years to crown this guy WWE champion. I mean, that's almost damn near criminal, if you ask me, in the talent that we see in Sami Zayn. And again, you don't have to like the guy. Maybe you don't like him because, like I said, his religious beliefs, or the fact that he looks like a bum or a hobo off the street. Whatever, man. That's your own opinion. I'm looking at Sami Zayn as the wrestler. And some of the shit that he's been involved in within WWE as a fan that I got excited for. The Bloodline, the Honorary Ooze storyline. The matches that he had in NXT Black and Gold, bro. I'm a huge NXT Black and Gold fan. That was some of the best wrestling, some of the best storytelling in all of WWE. And I will argue that shit to the moon. But the matches that Zayn has had, even the match that he had in Black and Gold, bro, the match when they brought in, Nakamura versus Sami Zayn, if you guys go as far as back as I do with NXT Black and Gold. If you guys have never seen that match, man, if you can, go back and watch that Sami Zayn Nakamura match. It's incredible, man. And, this guy was also on the Indies as El Generico, and he was killing it on the Indies in Ring of Honor and wrestling a guy named Kevin Steen, a.k.a. Kevin Owens. And the matches that he had wrestling over in Ring of Honor or wrestling over in PWG. I mean, the guy has busted his ass to get in this position that he is currently in right now. Now, here's the flip side of this coin. Do I believe that WWE has a lot of faith with Sami Zayn at the helm being WWE champion? Absolutely fucking not. Now, it might be a hot take for a lot of people because they're like, well, you just praise Zayn. Yeah, and I'm still going to praise Zayn. I think Zayn's an incredible talent. And you could also say, well, okay, well, you're saying that WWE didn't have a lot of faith in Zayn, but then why did they put the title on Zayn at Night of Champions? Because WWE needed to pivot. You can't keep having Cody Rhodes as a WWE champion. Now, on the other side of the coin, you could say, well, they could have crowned Gunther. I'm going to tell you guys right now, bro, the whole mystique around Gunther being the career killer and all this shit and retiring the likes of Goldberg, John Cena, and AJ Styles, that whole mystique around Gunther has fucking failed. It's over. It's failed. There are rumors right now that Gunther has a match at SummerSlam against Royce Keys when Royce Keys has not done a goddamn fucking thing on SmackDown. The only time we see anything remotely that has anything to do with Royce Keys over the last few months has been vignettes of him on the Stephanie McMahon podcast, the fact that he has had interactions with Solo Sikoa. Hell, even tonight for Friday Night SmackDown, he had an interaction with Jacob Fatu talking about the history that he's had with Fatu and the fact that he's a part of that family because loyalty is everything for Royce. And the fact that I guess these guys were killing it on the indies. But there's no backstory to none of this shit that Royce is talking about. If you're going to sit here and talk about all this history that you have with Solo and Jacob Fatu, can we go into a little bit more detail on how the hell that all came together? Because not for nothing, not every single wrestling fan is going to know about what the hell happened on the indies. It's not like the shit's televised, man. It's not like all these fans are going to different independent events up and down the East Coast or up and down the West Coast. That doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So can we get a little bit more intrigue on what the hell that you mean by the fact that, oh yeah, we were buddies and all this other shit and we worked together on the indies, and the backstory of how Royce Keys knows anything about Jacob Fatu or Solo Sikoa. But we have a rumor of a match at SummerSlam between Gunther and Royce Keys. So I'm going to tell you guys flat out right now, and this is going to be a hot goddamn take. That whole mystique around Gunther, it fucking failed. It failed. That whole career killer shit, it fucking failed. They have no plans or any intrigue with Gunther. And you could say, oh, right now he's beefing with Nick Aldis. That should be the fucking match at SummerSlam. But right now, there are rumors and speculation that Royce Keys is going to be the opponent for Gunther. What a huge fucking letdown and a huge fucking mistake. I'm sorry. I can give a rat's ass about Gunther versus Royce Keys at SummerSlam. Because right now, on paper, you're already teasing a storyline and a feud in itself right now between Gunther and SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis, who's a former professional wrestler. Hell, Nick Aldis is a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion. I'm sure when he got signed on the WWE, I'm sure he wanted to wrestle at some point in his WWE tenure. Well, here we are. We're at that moment. We got Gunther, we got Nick Aldis. Not for nothing. Genuinely, I'm asking you all this serious question, bro. As a pro wrestling fan right now, knowing what I just told you guys about Gunther and Royce Keys at SummerSlam, would you rather have Gunther versus Royce Keys at SummerSlam, or would you rather have Gunther, and for the first time ever, SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis lacing a pair of boots and stepping in the ring with Gunther at SummerSlam? Which one's more entertaining? Which one's more intriguing? I don't know. I'm going to go with the Nick Aldis and Gunther situation, folks, rather than Royce Keys, who has not done shit, than the other match. I mean, the only thing that Royce Keys has done so far as I'm concerned, being on the main roster, was winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. A Battle Royal that means jack shit. You have no plans for this fucking guy. I mean, look, bro, at the end of the day, I get it. Royce Keys saw the writing in the wall in AEW. He wanted to get the fuck out and wanted to go to WWE, even though that AEW and Tony Khan were supposedly offering him a shitload of money. Royce wanted to go to WWE. Look, I get it. But Jesus Christ, bro, the grass is not always greener on the other fucking side, and it don't take Scooby-Doo and the gang to figure out that Royce Keys on SmackDown, it ain't fucking working. It's not working, bro. You keep saying and saying the same shit. It's repetitive. The same shit. Well, you know how far we go back on the Indies, bro. No one knows what y'all did on the Indies. Honestly. And not for nothing, nobody even knew who the hell Royce Keys is, or Powerhouse Hobbs was, until Powerhouse Hobbs showed up on AEW television. Let's just keep it a buck. Not everybody's watching the Indies, bro. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to shit on the Indies. I love the Indies. But you can't tell me right now the casual WWE fan right now is going above and beyond to watch the Indies or going to independent events to figure out who these talents are. There's no fucking way. There's no way. So can we get some backstory on what's the connection here between Royce and Solo and Royce and Jacob Fatu in the bloodline? Can we get some kind of backstory on what the hell's going on here? You know what I mean? And as far as I'm concerned, if you are entertaining this Gunther and Royce Keys match at fucking SummerSlam, you might as well chalk that shit right now. You have a storyline right now alone with Gunther and Nick Aldis. You got the biggest event of the summer coming up in August. Roughly about, 4 weeks? 5 weeks? Some shit like that, August 1st? Why can't we, being that it's the biggest event of the summer, I don't think anybody's going to be opposed to see Gunther versus Nick Aldis. I don't think it can't be as bad as Pat McAfee versus fucking Gunther. I mean, at least Nick Aldis has some wrestling in his background other than Pat McAfee. You know what I'm saying? Let's have this guy lace up a pair of boots and have Nick Aldis show the world that this guy can wrestle. I mean, hell, even at one time, believe it or not, Adam Pearce was a professional wrestler at one time, believe it or not. And they have been, and my thing is with Aldis, they have been, getting fans' attention on this for a while now with having Nick Aldis step in the ring. This goes back all the way, but the storyline with Cody, Drew, and Nick Aldis. Where times Nick Aldis got face-to-face with Drew McIntyre, and they teased it then. Here we are now with Gunther, after the interaction that Gunther had with Nick Aldis backstage at Night of Champions, and a little back-and-forth, shoving match between the two. Not for nothing, WWE creative. Let's put Nick Aldis in a match. Let's figure it out. Hey, you know what? We both can't be on the same brand. You know what I mean? Winner leaves SmackDown. Or loser leaves SmackDown. And winner takes all. You know what I mean? And what if Nick Aldis loses? What does that do for Nick Aldis? I don't know. Maybe they swap GMs. Aldis goes to Raw. Pearce goes to SmackDown. It's just a wild thought, bro. Why not? Clearly, two of those guys can't be in the same company in the same room together. So again, if I was in a part of WWE Creative, this is a no fucking brainer to book Nick Aldis versus Gunther at SummerSlam. And like I said, for those being like, man, I don't want to see that shit, bro. You're telling me that you would rather see Pat McAfee versus Gunther than Nick Aldis versus Gunther? Come on, bro. Come on. The fuck are we doing here? No. You have a storyline within itself right now on TV between Aldis and Gunther. We just had to see how it plays out. So there's that. So, and again, I talked about the Sami Zayn situation, the big elephant in the room. Look, man, for all the haters for Zayn, I don't hate Sami Zayn. Do I believe Sami Zayn is a guy that's going to carry WWE on his back? No, I don't. And I know some people are like, man, then why the hell did you just, praise the guy? The reason why I'm praising Sami Zayn is because I see how much work Zayn has put in to get to this opportunity. Number one. He didn't lobby himself to, to Triple H or anything. No, he earned this opportunity and got the match. And he won. And some people like it and some people fucking hate it. Now, do I think that he's going to have some, and I said this when he won the damn title, do I think Zayn's going to have some long, elaborate title reign? Absolutely fucking not. As far as I'm concerned, right now on paper, after the news that came out tonight, with Cody Rhodes beating Jey Uso to crown himself the new number one contender, I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, I feel like this is how shit's going to play out. And this is probably going to blow y'all's mind, but just hear me out. As far as I'm concerned, Zayn, it's already been officially announced that Adam Pearce made the announcement that Sami Zayn will be defending the WWE title this week coming up on Raw in Chicago, Illinois. As far as I'm concerned, they're going to be in Chicago. Cody Rhodes beat Jey Uso, which crowned Cody Rhodes the new number one contender. So Cody Rhodes will face off against Sami Zayn this coming Monday on Monday Night Raw in Chicago, Illinois. Now, there's a certain somebody that we have not seen in quite some time making his return back to Monday Night Raw in his hometown. And that's none other than CM Punk. CM Punk is making his way back. He will be back on Monday Night Raw this coming Monday. Now, if you guys remember distinctly, there was a conversation that has already happened between CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, where CM Punk had told Cody Rhodes, you never know when another opportunity is just going to fall in your lap. And Cody Rhodes said, hey, time and place for an opportunity at the WWE title when Rhodes was WWE champion. Now, there is a part of me that could see this situation play out where Sami Zayn's title reign comes to an end on Monday Night Raw. And we crown a new WWE champion in Cody Rhodes. And it's the main event on Monday Night Raw. Then, after waiting the entire night, Cody Rhodes wins the WWE Championship. He's standing in the middle of the ring, and all of a sudden, we hear a certain somebody's theme music, and we see the likes of CM Punk standing in the center of the ring face-to-face with Cody Rhodes. And then we get the announcement of Cody Rhodes defending the WWE title against CM Punk at SummerSlam. I can see this playing out. And I'm just saying, call it a conspiracy theory if you want to. I can see Zayn's title reign coming to an end on Monday Night Raw this coming Monday. And Cody Rhodes becomes, once again, WWE champion. Now, do I agree that the WWE title needs to be on the line for a CM Punk and Cody Rhodes match? No. The match sells itself. We do not need to see Cody Rhodes, WWE champion, to face off against CM Punk. The only reason why I'm thinking that WWE is possibly entertaining this idea or going this route is for one or two reasons. One, we are going into SummerSlam in about 4.5 weeks. It's the biggest show of the year. It's a 2-night event in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Right now, you had the likes of Roman Reigns defending the World Heavyweight title against Seth Rollins. You also have Brock Lesnar and Obafemi in a Hell in a Cell match, most likely main eventing night one. But they're also, I guess, not technically going up against AEW, but All In is also in the same month. It's at the end of the month, where SummerSlam's kicking off the month of August. I can see a situation where WWE might be naive enough to have Zayn drop the title and crown Cody Rhodes the new WWE champion, and we get CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam for the WWE title. How that plays out, I don't know. I do not know. I know some people are saying, hey man, we're going to have Zayn, move on and face and still be champion at SummerSlam. Yeah, there's a very good chance that can happen as well. But I'm going to be honest, man, if Zayn holds on to the belt until SummerSlam, that's it. I do not see Zayn carrying this title until we get to WrestleMania, bro. I don't. And that's a long time from now. I just don't think Zayn's going to have this long, elaborate title reign. And there's already rumors and speculations that he might drop the belt this coming Monday. And they're going to set up Cody Rhodes and CM Punk for the WWE title. That's my conspiracy theory. Because we already know that CM Punk is on his way back. We know the last time we saw CM Punk on television, he had an interaction with Cody Rhodes and told Cody, hey, you never know when an opportunity is just going to fall in my lap. And Cody Rhodes told CM Punk, time and place. Well, this time and place could be at SummerSlam in Minneapolis, Minnesota for the WWE title. Maybe this was something where, again, this is no disrespect towards Sami Zayn, but this was something that maybe they wanted to hot potato the title and just give Zayn his glory at that time in Saudi and then say, hey, you know what, we're going to move on from this and, appreciate what you did, but we're going to move forward. And it might be the last time we ever see Sami Zayn WWE champion ever again. Might be another 13 years. And by then, bro, I don't even know he's got another 13 years in him. So, I don't see him having a long, elaborate title reign. And for all intents and purposes, that title reign can come to an end this coming Monday night on Raw. And again, we also have CM Punk lurking in the shadows and making his return also on Monday Night Raw this coming Monday. So we're going to see how that plays out. But that's just my conspiracy theory, bro. Maybe they are setting up some kind of Cody Rhodes CM Punk match for SummerSlam in August. It's a very, very high possibility of that happening. The other things I want to talk about, too, before I get the hell up out of here, and this might be a hot take, too, man, but I had to say this. I know there was an announcement after the Brie Bella and I forget her name already, in the one of the members from Fatal Influence. After their matchup tonight on Smackdown, there was an announcement that was made after the match that both Paige and Brie Bella will be defending the women's tag team titles against Fatal Influence. I'm going to be honest. And again, this might be subjective to a lot of people, might be a hot take for a lot of people. When this match goes down, and I believe this match is taking place at Saturday night's main event in New York City in Madison Square Garden. This would be that time where we crown new women's tag team champions with Fatal Influence. Fatal Influence can be a significant role on SmackDown. Absolutely. The other reason why I think it's time to drop these damn titles from Brie and Paige, because I believe Brie and Paige need to go their separate ways. Paige needs to be on a singles run, and as far as Brie Bella, bro, look, I understand why she wanted to come back. She was obviously excited for Nikki to come back and saw Nikki doing her thing until she got injured. And Brie came back, and she got a huge ovation from the crowd when, she joined her sister Nikki once again on Monday Night Raw. And I get it. Obviously there's some fans out there that are big on nostalgia, and I get it. I've seen Brie wrestle a couple times now since she's been back. And I get when she first came back, I understood it. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, I can honestly, if she said, hey, I'm going to hang up the boots and ride off to the sunset tomorrow, I can give a rat's ass. I'm done with Brie Bella. I think Paige needs to go on a singles run. I think there's a lot in store for Paige. Paige can go after the Women's Intercontinental title. I would love to see a matchup between Paige and Sol Ruca for the Women's Intercontinental title. I think that'd be a hell of a match. There's a lot of things on the table for Paige where I do not see the same thing for Brie Bella. I think the women's tag team titles in itself are useless, in my honest opinion. But if we're going to get this matchup here between Paige and Brie Bella taking on Fatal Influence, I think it's time that we crown new women's tag team champions to have Fatal Influence beat Paige and Brie Bella at Saturday night's main event in Madison Square Garden. And speaking of Madison Square Garden, this was another little thing that I caught on to on SmackDown tonight. Danhausen. There was a little backstage segment there between Danhausen, Matt Cardona, and Miz and Kit Wilson. Danhausen was backstage with his entire setup backstage, and you can see Miz and Kit Wilson, pretty much getting shocked, I guess, from some device or whatever the hell that Danhausen created. And we saw the likes of Matt Cardona. And Matt Cardona and Danhausen were having this little back and forth banter a little bit. And Danhausen announced that he's having a match at Saturday night's main event in Madison Square Garden against JD McDonough from the Judgment Day. Now, Danhausen's well aware of the fact that, JD's going to have some backup with Dominic Mysterio in the Judgment Day. But he also made a very interesting point that it's got a lot of people talking. That Danhausen told Matt Cardona that he's also got backup as well. Now, this has got a lot of people talking. Who the hell is this backup that Danhausen is talking about? Now, there are 3 names out there right now that are former WWE talents that are possibly entertaining the idea of making their comeback, or return, if you will, back to WWE. One of those names is Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin, who was working with MLW, looks like he's wrapping things up with MLW and is on his way back to WWE. So one name that's out there for sure is Baron Corbin, or Bishop Dwyer, if you guys, watch MLW. The other interesting names that could possibly be the backup for Danhausen going into this Saturday night's main event match against Jamie McDonough in Madison Square Garden is none other than the hometown guys, Big Bill and Enzo Amore. Now, there's been a lot of speculation that Enzo Amore and Big Bill, if you will, were on their way back to WWE. Now, if you guys are not familiar with Enzo Amore and, I guess, Big Cass, if you will, they're a former WWE tag team back in the days of WWE. They were teaming up as a team. They're also teaming up with Carmella at one time as a stable. A few years ago, well, it's been more than a few years, but a little bit back in time, obviously there was some situation that came out about Enzo Amore, which ultimately got him released from WWE, and the rest was history. And then Enzo has been working on the indies, and Big Bill, obviously, I forgot his other name from WWE. I literally just said it, but I just had a brain fart for a second. Has wrestled in AEW, being Big Bill. Big Bill, I think, is done with AEW. I think his contract elapsed and he didn't re-sign with AEW, and he's on his way back to WWE. Big Cass, that was his name. So it looks like we might see the return of Enzo Amore and Big Cass back on the main roster in WWE. So I think it could be, Baron Corbin, or more than likely it might be Enzo Amore and Big Cass backing up the likes of Danhausen in Madison Square Garden, being that they're going to be in Madison Square Garden, and obviously I believe it's the hometown of Enzo Amore and Big Cass. So obviously if that were to be the case, if it's going to be Enzo Amore and Big Cass, and they come out with the old theme music, obviously they're going to get a huge pop from the crowd. So it should be exciting if it is going to be Enzo and Big Cass showing up at Saturday night's main event in Madison Square Garden. It would definitely be a moment to remember for sure. We also had Charlotte Flair in action in a 6-women's tag team matchup, teaming up with Stratton and Chelsea Green, taking on Jade Cargill, B-Fab, and Meechin. It was an okay match at best. I really can't hype it up any more than what that is, to be honest with you. We hear from Sami Zayn as well. They're also playing clips from Monday Night Raw. The interaction between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, and the interaction that happened between Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar was also showcased tonight on Friday Night Smackdown. And we also had the AAA Cruiserweight title matchup between Rey Fenix and Vikingo. And before I get out of here, I want to say this too, man. AAA, bro, I'm telling you guys right now, if you guys ain't watching AAA, I'm definitely going to keep my eyeballs on AAA and what the hell they're doing, man, because I'm telling you right now, man, they are on to something. They are on to something. What Undertaker's doing down there and booking the shows, and what we've seen so far, or at least what I've seen so far from AAA. I mean, we can all go back to the Mass versus Mass match and how incredible that moment was and how incredible that match was. AAA, man, they are starting to make moves, man. It's definitely getting my attention. This Phoenix match and Vikingo by far was match of the night, in my honest opinion. And, man, they are killing it right now, man. AAA is doing some big shit right now, and I'm definitely excited. I'm definitely intrigued with what AAA is doing. And for all intents and purposes, man, there might be some more reviews here from AAA in the foreseeable future on this podcast, man. So I'm definitely excited for the future of AAA as well. But as far as SmackDown is concerned, I'm not going to sit here and say it was a horrible show. It wasn't a great show. It was okay at best, man. I mean, yeah, I'm excited for the fact that they're back to 2 hours. There's rumors that CM Punk is on his way back, and it might all be also making his way over to SmackDown, which, not for nothing, they sorely need CM Punk on Friday nights. But this show needs a lot more, man, than just going back to 2 hours. There needs to be excitement. There needs to be story, some intrigue to get me, honestly, excited to want to even entertain, watching SmackDown every single week. The reason why I did this is because it was kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing. And I feel like you guys deserved a SmackDown review from me because it's been quite some time. But like I told you guys, man, as far as SmackDown is concerned, I was just burnt out, man. And I'm still kind of burnt out from it. I was just burnt out. I was just mentally drained. And like I said, man, we saw what we saw on Dynamite and how bad their storytelling was getting, if you want to call it that. And then we got 3 hours of SmackDown every Friday night, man. It was burning me out. It really was. And we're gonna see what happens with SmackDown moving forward. I'm not gonna sit here and say that there's not gonna be any more reviews for SmackDown, but I just got to figure out my schedule and figure out how I want to do this with SmackDown and reincorporate SmackDown into the podcast. But like I said before, man, I am definitely entertaining the idea of reviewing AAA. I'm definitely excited with AAA. It's definitely got my interest, definitely intriguing, and I actually want to do some of the old school stuff too, man. If you guys have been here since day one, again, thank you very much. But if you guys have been here since day one, some of the content I used to put out, whether it was on YouTube or just from the audio side of things, a lot of it was just, old school content. I started out doing Starrcade, NWA stuff, NWA Power, Starrcade 1983, all the WCW pay-per-views, and I really enjoyed going back in time and giving my reviews of these certain events, man, to kind of go back in time. I'm a big nostalgia guy, and it was cool to go back in the Rolodex of time, if you will, to give you guys reviews on some of these old school pay-per-views that either some people do know about these pay-per-views or have no idea what these events were even about. So I am entertaining the idea of kind of going back in time a little bit and reviewing some of the old school events as well. So I'm just kind of playing around with some stuff and seeing what makes the most sense moving forward. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. There's going to be a lot more content coming out of the podcast here relatively soon, man. So I'm excited for that other content and to give you guys more reviews on certain events, especially even AAA, like I mentioned earlier, and start reviewing AAA's promotion as well. So, but like I said, man, SmackDown wasn't terrible. I look forward to what's going to happen next with Sami Zayn. I think Monday Night Raw is going to be very telling to see what happens with the future of Sami Zayn for sure moving forward. But with that being said, though, this is my review of Friday Night SmackDown. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful, and remember, stay classic. Peace.